My name is Emily. I never imagined that a simple Saturday afternoon could spiral into one of the most awkward, heart-pounding moments of my life. As a single mother, my life had always revolved around my son, Ryan. He was my world, my pride, and my reason for staying strong after my husband passed away years ago. Ryan was a bright, respectful teenager who had always been mature for his age. We shared everything with each other, our joys, struggles, and little victories. But there were parts of my life I had kept hidden, pieces of myself that I had buried deep, thinking they would never surface. For months, I had been secretly seeing a man named Mark. We met at the local community center where I volunteered. Mark was charming, funny, and so gentle with me in a way I hadn't experienced in years. We started seeing each other quietly because I didn't want to complicate things for Ryan. Mark respected that. He was patient, and he understood that introducing him to my son too soon could be overwhelming. I thought I was managing everything well, keeping my private life private while being the best mother I could be. That Saturday, Ryan had told me he was going to a friend's house to work on a school project. I believed him without question. Mark and I planned to spend the afternoon together at my house. We hadn't seen each other for a week, and the excitement in my stomach felt like 1,000 butterflies fighting to escape. When Mark arrived, I welcomed him with a warm hug that quickly turned into a passionate kiss. We talked for a while in the kitchen, sharing jokes and little touches that ignited a fire inside me. Soon, we drifted toward the living room, our chemistry unstoppable. Mark's kisses grew deeper, his hands explored my back, and before long, we were lost in each other completely. I felt alive in those moments, like I had found a piece of myself I didn't know I had been missing. The laughter, the touch, the heat, it all made me forget the world outside, even if only for a while. We moved to the couch, our bodies pressed close, my fingers tangled in his hair as we kissed like two people starving for affection. In the midst of that passion, I heard the front door creak open. My heart skipped a beat, but for a split second, I ignored it, lost in the sensation of Mark's lips on my neck. Then I heard footsteps, fast, panicked, and too familiar. "Mom?" Ryan's voice shot through the air like an arrow. Everything stopped. Mark and I jumped apart, my face flushing hotter than I ever thought possible. Ryan stood there, his eyes wide and his jaw dropped, frozen in place. My mind went blank as I pulled a blanket over myself and pushed Mark away, trying to cover as much as I could. "Ryan, what are you doing home?" I stammered, my voice shaking. He stood still, eyes darting between me and Mark, a mixture of shock, betrayal, and confusion washing over his face. My friend got sick. I came back early, his voice cracked, and he looked like he was about to bolt. "Ryan, wait." I scrambled to my feet, still clutching the blanket. Mark tried to help, but I motioned for him to stay back. My son turned around and rushed up the stairs to his room, slamming the door behind him. The house felt like it had suddenly shrunk, the walls closing in around me. Mark stood silently, his hands awkwardly resting at his sides. "I'm so sorry," he whispered. "It's not your fault," I replied softly, my heart breaking at the thought of Ryan upstairs, alone and hurting. I knew I had to go to him. I turned to Mark, taking a deep breath. "I need to talk to him. Please, just wait here." Mark nodded, understanding in his eyes. I wrapped the blanket tighter and went upstairs, my steps slow and heavy. I paused outside Ryan's door, listening to his muffled sobs. I knocked gently. "Ryan, honey, can I come in?" "Go away," he shouted, his voice muffled but sharp. My heart shattered at his words, but I didn't want to give up. "Please, sweetheart. We need to talk. Let me explain." There was silence for a few moments before I heard a quiet, reluctant "fine." I slowly opened the door and saw him sitting on his bed, hugging his knees to his chest, his eyes red and puffy. The sight of him like that nearly knocked me off my feet. I sat down on the edge of his bed, leaving some space between us. "Ryan, I'm so sorry you had to see that. I never wanted you to find out this way." He didn't look at me. "Why didn't you tell me? I thought we told each other everything." His voice was soft and hurt, and I felt tears prick at my eyes. I know, and you're right. I should have told you. I was scared of how you would feel, scared of changing our life. I didn't want to hurt you. But you did, he whispered, finally looking up at me. His eyes were full of pain and confusion. Dad's gone, and now you're with someone else? I nodded slowly. Ryan, your dad will always be a part of my heart. I will always love him. But I'm still here, and I still need love and connection. Mark makes me feel happy again. It doesn't mean I love you any less. You are and always will be the most important person in my life. He wiped his eyes roughly with the back of his hand. I didn't expect it. It feels like you've been hiding from me. I reached out carefully, placing my hand on his. He didn't pull away. I was wrong to keep it a secret. You deserve to know, and I promise from now on to be honest with you about everything. Mark is a good man. I wanted to tell you when the time was right, but I realize now that I should have trusted you sooner. He stared at our hands, his breathing slow and uneven. Do you love him? The question cut deep. I took a moment before answering, feeling the weight of every word. Yes, I do. He makes me happy, and I think he could be good for both of us if you're willing to give him a chance. Ryan's shoulders trembled, and I pulled him into a hug. At first, he resisted, but slowly he melted into my arms, his tears wetting my shoulder. We sat there for what felt like an eternity, just holding each other as the afternoon sun streamed softly through the window. When he finally pulled back, he looked at me with a hesitant, fragile calmness. Can I meet him properly? He asked, his voice small but steady. A rush of relief flooded through me. Of course, I whispered, brushing his hair back gently. Only when you're ready. We sat together a little longer, talking about his school project and how he had panicked when his friend fell sick. Slowly, the tension eased. I realized that my son, though young, had a depth of understanding I had underestimated. I told him that he didn't have to accept Mark right away, that it was okay to feel upset or confused. He nodded, showing me that he needed time. Eventually, we went downstairs together. Mark stood awkwardly in the living room, his face full of uncertainty. Ryan walked over to him, his posture stiff but brave. He looked up at Mark and offered his hand. Hi, I'm Ryan, he said quietly. Mark smiled, relief washing over his features as he shook Ryan's hand. Hi, Ryan. It's nice to finally meet you. Ryan gave a small nod and looked at me, as if silently asking for approval. I nodded encouragingly. It was an awkward beginning, but a beginning nonetheless. The rest of the afternoon was filled with cautious conversation. Ryan asked Mark about his job, his hobbies, and even about how he met me. Mark answered everything with patience and honesty, never pushing too hard. I could see Ryan slowly thawing, his walls coming down little by little. That evening, after Mark left, Ryan and I curled up on the couch to watch a movie, an old tradition we hadn't done in a while. Halfway through, he leaned his head on my shoulder. I guess he's not so bad, he mumbled. I kissed the top of his head, my heart full of gratitude and love. Thank you for giving him a chance, I whispered. As the credits rolled, I realized how close I had come to losing the trust we had built for years. I knew there would be more awkward moments ahead, more hurdles to overcome, but we had taken the first step together. The worst moment, the one I had dreaded most, had turned into an opportunity for honesty and growth. It wasn't perfect, and it certainly wasn't easy, but it was real. That night, as I lay in bed, I felt a quiet relief wash over me. I had shown my true self to my son, flaws and all. He had seen me in one of the most vulnerable, embarrassing situations imaginable, and yet he still accepted me. Our bond, though shaken, had proven stronger than I ever realized. Sometimes the worst moments become the ones that push us forward, force us to open up, and help us discover the depth of love we have for each other. And in that messy, awkward reality, we find the truest connection of all.